ultimate source of consciousness is that subtle mind, subtle consciousness of mind. Right. So that continuation, that's as you mentioned, no beginning. The main reason, that also is a momentarily changing. So that is the reason it must causes. Among the causes, substantial causes and cooperative causes. So cooperative causes like eye consciousness, the eye organs are cooperative causes. But substantial causes is continuation of consciousness. So therefore, the human mind, cooperative causes the human body. But the luminosity,
the luminosity,
the luminous awareness, the ability of awareness is the quality of mental consciousness. So that must come similar causes at the time of conception. Right. Conception. Actually, you see, I want to know, you see, at the conception, at the mixing semen and the blood, egg. So can you say 100%, as soon as you see these two things mixed, their life 100% sure will develop?
No.
Or sometimes may not?
No. Sometimes may not. Sometimes not.
Then
sometimes not.
It creates one question. There must be some third factor. So physically, same case, mixed. No other defection, right?
Defects.
But it's the same sort of condition. Sometimes it eventually rotten or something. Right? Some then develop life. So in that case, the third factor. That's I think those sort of school of thought is who have the concept of rebirth. There's consciousness enter. Then life start. Now here consciousness, different level of consciousness, the subtle consciousness, the previous life, at the time of death, all grosser level of consciousness dissolved. So only the subtle consciousness, most inner subtle consciousness remain. That depart from this body, and another intermediate state body, not like this solid body, but very light body, have you see these sensorial experiences. Then when you see the opportunity come, they here yesterday Kishla you mentioned karma. Karma also is a very important sort of factor. But another factor is desire. At the time of death,
attachment to self.
So
attachment to death, attachment to embodied existence.
So that leads seeking one new body. Then what kind of body? A new body. Now karma involved. Here I said that I was being very clear. The semi pembudu trade, corporate tool than embrace, Carla, in a tumor, sad nobody, so tool than tumors, tutor nobody of colors, I made tool than tumors. Darwin gets crochetto. So then, the other two names are in Yongstoa, the legend tumors. So experience is part of mind, mental experience. So it is sort of substantial cause, must be something connected with mind. So karma theory now here involved. So in any way, so that's the reason the mental substantial cause must be similar nature. The matter's substantial cause must be same nature at the beginning of Big Bang, even before. Today, our sort of body's ultimate substantial sort of causes is continuation must be before Big Bang.
Big Bang.
And another Big Bang, beginningless.
So I guess where as a scientist I would have profound difficulty is with two ideas. One is the idea of...
I usually make sort of addition. Scientists up to now
Science
should
actually.
not say scientist.
Okay.
Another sort of century, 2 centuries, 3 centuries, this scientific thinking, this scientific mind, maybe you see differently.
Yeah.
Quite possible. So science has this ability, we never accept anything as absolute, so we constantly change and revive as better data becomes available. But right now, science has no way of explaining how... So the subtle mind is one thing, but how memories from my previous life can be... You die, that's it, you're dead, you're gone. Your brain is dissolved into its constituent atoms. How can individual memories that we believe are coded in the brain, how can they survive the death of the brain? We have no ways to explain that. For us right now, it's magic. It's like this cartoon where you have now a miracle happens, and essentially my memory is transformed to hyperspace, and then, a child that's born 10 years from now has my memories. We have no way to explain it. I mean, for us, it's pure magic.
As far as up-to-date sort of scientific way,
Right.
certain sort of limitation. So, okay, you carry that. And some sort of mysterious things happen. Then I usually telling you some my Christian friend. I think I mentioned before or not the Buddhist business side. Oh, so like that. So you can say, oh, that's your Buddhist business. Don't bring in our sort of laboratory.
Holiness, I have a question of clarification. Yesterday we heard 2 times that there is apparently also the notion in Buddhism then that energy is bound to mind, and that through this fluidity there is some combination of material and mind always going together. And now you said there is a stream of consciousness which is always there, and then you said there is the notion of reincarnation. So that means information, concrete information needs to go away. Now in our Western mind, the idea of energy or pure consciousness, light, implies that there is not concrete information traveling, but just like pure light. So how do they
That's true.
relate?
So that's true. That they are the lungsim mo ta the shiva 참여가 누잖아요. 다 지다 shiva라고 주잖아요. 양 코로코로 셴벨룽도와. 나 lungs는 먼저 지다야 에서의 쓰기면 메시다. 그 내는 게 에너지 세대기. 그래서 요 니버티 에너지가 아니라 되는 거지. shiva 유지하게 되거든. So now in the most subtle level of mind, also you see very similar sort of subtle level of energy. That always will go together.
Your Holiness, I want to go back to the question of the subtle body, which you have talked about on several different occasions. Sometimes it's Buddhist business, but now it seems to be spilling over a little bit into scientific business.
Now we are interfering now.
So we know from the Buddhist tradition that there are certain physical practices that are said to influence the subtle body. We also know that there are certain types of interventions like acupuncture, which are said to operate on maybe not exactly the subtle body, but energy systems which may be relevant to the subtle body. And serious Western neuroscience has begun to investigate those phenomena. There's a very rigorous beginning of research on those kind of phenomena. So if we know that physical practices can influence the subtle body, one question is whether the direction goes both ways. That is, does the subtle body influence the gross body? If the gross body can influence the subtle body, does it go both ways? Is it bidirectional?
This moment, ordinary level, the subtle mind there, but inactive. So may not much sort of the effect on grosser level of mind or physical. Then through training, through meditation, mainly through meditation, and some other yogic sort of practice, the subtle mind becoming more active. The grosser level of mind because of the more inactive. Then through that way, the energy or power of subtle mind, then subtle mind energy become more stronger and stronger.
More active.
More active.
More manifest.
Obvious. Yeah.
Then, you see, actually, you see, control of the grosser level of feeling, all these things.
So, but the question of Christoph and Tanya was how memory information can be carried through that longsem, that from one life to another.
So it's not really on the continuum itself. The memory is carried,
Embedded.
The information, Yeah.
다들 박자세 또 박자세 디다 식디 세브라 시다메 소리 다 삼리 패지 롤 차트시디 시부드르샤 시부이 뒤인데 아니 식세나 sab샤도 시부 뒤제셔 그러다 자상가 시베 균지간이야 시부베 그세하는 거지 가서 진다 느시베 다 통용식도 와 자상가 야 응아망가면 시부 된다 그 수미로 와 그 톡제 말봐 자디데 인도산에 배천 통용목 용택을 세상 어디 뒤니베 다 레기 니베 뒤가는 소리
So
레직 사샤베 디시비시부디 가서 다 교육 납시 간래 레디고 so the disintegration 가서 due to its cause. So when disintegration materialize, that also ultimately due to cause.
Is a cause.
So it's still within the law of
Causality. So one can understand the sort of the maintenance of the information in terms of just these, multitudes of disintegrations. That in some sense, one could almost see them as kind of traces of experiences that have occurred, come into being and disappeared. And since these are formless or non-material, we don't have to worry about how to fit them.
Even material.
But we do have to worry about them.
Genes and these things. You see,
So
billions of genes.
So even when it's physical, at the genetic level, you can speak about billions of them, in a small locus. So this disintegration phenomenon is...
No formless. So therefore, almost infinite. Infinite sort of some kind of
So there is that potential. When it comes into contact with the right condition, it has this ability to actualize. So in this way, all the kind of information, if you want, are carried across, isn't it?
So it's very.
I think we just want to pause for a second to say that there are a certain set of presuppositions which the physical sciences, brain sciences and the like normally operate under, which presuppose a material substrate for everything. I think it's important to recognize that that is not the presupposition that is being held by this other community that's hosting us. And there's a subtle mind, which is an immaterial mind, and which can nonetheless carry information, carry potentially memory, has a whole architecture and dynamics to it. There's a philosophy concerning it, and it's based in their experience. That is to say, it's not something that's just simply presupposed. It's something that they make use of in order to accommodate their range of experience. Now for us, I won't include myself because actually I'm on this other side. And I think it's important.
So I think quite useful. The late Verala, when he talks, when he explained purely science, then he say, now
I'm putting the
scientist
scientist cap.
Then, you see, when he talks something about, you see, some of the Buddhist concept, then he say, with now Buddhist concept.
Buddhist cap.
That's, I think good.
But I think it's also important to recognize that there are many things that are still even mysterious in physics, you know? Even something as simple as gravity. It's nothing we see. The forces of gravity. Gravity is still a deep mystery. You know, it's something which is apparent, completely obvious, and yet what it is subtle and mysterious. And I think we want to be inclusive in this regard with regards to the kind of phenomena that you're describing. You know, the study in Western science of the brain as a third-person object of research, the way we've heard from Tanya Singer and Richie Davidson and many other scientists that you've heard, is possible by virtue of the fact that it is an object. The subtle mind, it would seem to me, can never be an object. And so that would then mean that one would only have access to the subtle mind as the first person experience, the subjective experience of memory of a past life, clairvoyant perception, whatever those phenomena might be. So that would mean that the proof, if you will, or the conviction that there is a subtle mind and that these are true memories would lie within the subjective individual experience that I might have or you might have. Then there must be a different form of validation, of showing that it's true.
Validation. Validation.
I also, you see, met 2 Indian girls. One about 4-year-old, one 6-year-old. See, they also also the memory about past life. Very clear. So local newspaper reported that. So as soon as I saw that, I sent someone to thorough investigation about that. Then eventually I met both of them. Their memory about their immediate past life, so clear. The case of this 4-year-old sort of girl, her sort of past life also, one student, one girl. So at a young age, both cases, young age is some accidentally she died. So therefore, that is the 4-year-old girl, as a result of so sort of precise memory about past life, house and name of the parent and relatives, all these things. So then the previous life's parent, still alive, they also accepted that girl is their daughter. So that girl, 4 parents.